The NFL Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Hall of Fame Bets, the sports betting research platform for parlays, player props, and game lines. Download the Hall of Fame Bets app or visit holbets.com. Use code SGPN to get 50% off your first month and start making smarter bets today. Yes, sir. We are back with another edition of the NFL Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. Know me, know the voice on the guy. It's me, really real, villain real, Terrell Furman Jr. here at your surface. And we are back for another Thursday game. We don't have many left. I think we only have one left after this, actually.
This is it.
No, this is the last one. Holy crap.
This
This is the last one. Oh, man. Dang, Scott. Well, another season, another year of Thursday Night Football down. We did get the Rams minus 4.5 out of the reluctance. We did get that to go last game. It did go over 45.5 in that one. All right. Scott, so you're right, everybody. Scott, what's going on?
Scotty, beat me up.
Surprise.
Yeah, doing pretty well. Not the greatest game for me last week as Stafford couldn't get one rushing yard, which wasn't fun. He had a chance there to scramble once, decided not to, so that didn't end up working out. But either way, point is, not the greatest episode for me, but it was a pretty good couple weeks in a row. So I'll try to get back on track here as my favorite team is playing for some reason on TV. So there you go.
I mean, we can use that and transition right into it because your favorite team, the New York Jets, on the road going to play the Cleveland Browns. 10-5 Cleveland Browns that have not fell off a cliff. The Joe Flacco-led Cleveland Browns. And those Browns are laying 7.5 on prime time. 34.5 is the total here. This is at the beginning of the season. We thought this was going to be Aaron Rodgers versus Deshaun Watson. We are now getting Joe Flacco versus Trevor Siemian.
Does it count as a revenge game? Played for the Jets last year. Does it count as a revenge game?
Oh, wow. He did. Wow, I forgot about that. I guess it does. It does count as a revenge game. Look, man. I mean, I don't know if, you've been under a rock or it's very easy not to be paying. Actually, matter of fact, you might not have been under a rock. It's very easy not to be paying attention to what's been going on with Cleveland over the past few games. But Joe Flacco has been really freaking good, guys.
Yep.
Like Joe Flacco has gone out there. I think he has 2+ passing touchdowns in every game.
I think he has an interception every game too. So he's still the same guy. He's gonna sling it.
Yes, and it's like, but it's working, and it's so funny because it's just like, bro, you were actually starting other people outside of Joe Flacco this season.
He was on the couch for half the year, and he's already a top. What is he? Based on all the injuries at quarterback in the league, is he top 10 right now?
He has in his 4 games, he is 3-1 straight up. He has 10 touchdowns to 7 interceptions, 1,307 yards. I mean, he has.
By the way, the one loss was his first game, so that's
his first game against the Rams, and then he's rattled off 3 straight against the Jags, the Bears, and the Texans here. That Jags and Texans win is actually like pretty solid. Like those are pretty solid wins.
Jaguars, I don't know. He played decently against the Bears.
This is before the Jags fell off the cliff though. Like he caught them before they fell off the cliff.
I think that was the game after. I think that was the first game Lawrence played though post ankle injury, and they weren't sure how he was going to look. But either way, point is he looked good.
And Houston, they had a backup quarterback, but Houston's still a pretty decent roster. Like going on the road with your terrible road defense is and getting a win is a pretty good feat here.
You didn't just win. You helped Amari Cooper set the franchise single season receiving yards record. In a single game receiving yards record?
In a season that they had Deshaun Watson, Dorian Thompson-Robinson, PJ Walker, and now Joe Flacco throwing the ball, and he got to see what?
Yeah. No, Flacco's been good.
So who had that before? Josh Gordon? It had to be Josh Gordon.
Yeah, it was Josh Gordon. And that 1 year that he was actually like available for, it was Josh Gordon. Greatest fantasy
He has
football
three.
one of all time.
His past 3 games are all 300 yards passing. The one game that wasn't 300 yards passing was the first one against the Rams. It was 240-54. I mean, like, how do we not just lay the 7.5 here? Who is running to bet the Jets? Like, who is running to bet the Jets in this spot?
So I'm not going to lay the 7.5 because I found 7. So I'm going to lay the 7 instead. But I'm not taking the Jets. It was a very weird game last week for the Jets, who were destroying a Commanders team that has nothing to play for, and that I've said has quit on the season for the last 2 months. And they blew a 20-point lead to Jacoby Brissett. A 20-point lead to Jacoby Brissett. And the regular starting running back didn't even play. You ended up using Rodriguez as the running back, and he had a good game. But the Jets blew a massive lead and then had one drive where they ended up winning via 50-plus yard field goal to, I guess, save their reputation. But if you're going to blow a 20-point lead to a team that quit on the season and Jacoby Brissett, I'm not picking you to win in Cleveland. That's just not going to happen. Simeon's not very good, but I do think Cleveland's defense can get after him because he's a statue. And I do think that you're looking at Cleveland being a great home defense in particular. And with Flacco playing well, Cooper's healthy, they still can't really run the ball, but who cares when Flacco can get you 300 yards passing every game? I'm taking the Browns. They're competing for a playoff spot, potentially a division. It's not going to happen. They're not going to catch Baltimore, but still, I do think you're looking at a spot where Cleveland is the better team by a country mile. I don't see these teams being close to each other. Give me the Browns to win this game by double digits.
All right. I'm still on under. Are you?
I think I'm more interested in team totals in this game because I kind of am tempted by Cleveland over and Jets under.
Mm-hmm.
I think I have to lean under because I don't know how many points I think the Jets are going to score. Then again, Brissett just lit up this defense for 20-plus points. I think I'm going to lean over. This number just feels too low to me. I get the argument the Jets might not score. I get all that. Maybe garbage time plays a factor. I think this Jets defense is overrated. And I know that Sauce Gardner's a great corner. He's had a great year after a pretty slow start. He's been very good the last couple months. But once again, it's just a matter of this team's not very good against the run. They've been a little bit streaky against the pass, usually good, occasionally bad. But Flacco's going to do Flacco things. I just think that he's going to find ways to generate a solid amount of big plays. Both quarterbacks have turnover issues. You might see some short fields. I'm going to lean to the over. Give me a 27-13 game.
All right.
30 was very low for me. I get it, but I think I'm going to lean over. Maybe a contrarian angle by me.
All right. Yeah, I think it's pretty contrarian for me. I think they're going to struggle on both sides of the ball here. Short week. If there's ever a time for Joe Flacco not to get over his 1.5 yards passing, that is now currently listed at plus 154 people, it would be on a short week where, preparation just isn't there. That Jets defense gets up on the road. We know that Browns defense is nasty. I don't think the Jets can put up. I would be very impressed to see the Jets put up more than 10 points in this game. So, yeah, I think this is a very, very ugly type of 20-10 win by the Cleveland Browns here. Let's see. Before we get into our first touchdown, got to talk to you guys about PrizePicks because this is the most fun I can have when I'm trying to multiply my money by 25. 25x is what you can win on PrizePicks. Basketball season's here, so you can do the combo projections between NFL and basketball. For example, LeBron and Travis Kelce. You can go out here and use that injury insurance, man. I'm telling you, if a player gets hurt in that first half, everybody talking about, I want this voided. Well, look no further than PrizePicks, where if somebody gets hurt in the first half and does not return the second half, that player will be rebooted. And that reboot injury insurance, the only daily fantasy sports platform with injury insurance, is PrizePicks. Make sure you tap into PrizePicks. Use that promo code SGPN at prizepicks.com/SGPN for a first deposit match up to $100. That's prizepicks.com/SGPN, code SGPN. PrizePicks, daily fantasy sports made easy. All right. First touchdown. I think I'm
I'm
going
trying to
first
remember who
because
scored last week. Who scored last week?
I can't remember. That's what I
Oh,
was
it was
trying to remember
Nakua.
too.
It was Puka,
Oh,
who I don't think we had. I had
I think it
Cup.
was
I
short.
didn't have Nakua.
Yeah, I think he was short anyway. All right. I'll kick things off. And
I think we're gonna have two of the same. That's my guess.
oh wow, Njoku's plus 750. I mean, I get it because like I really did want to go to Njoku. But I can't do 750. That's way too short. Let me see
I found an
here.
8 if you wanted an 8.
No, that's not no. I gotta get to 10. I gotta get to 10. It's not worth it playing that short of odds for, and then he's not even a running back. Like I'm not playing that short of odds at first touchdown. I'm good on it. But I will take a flyer on the backup, 45-1, Harrison Bryant. And it's the same thing. First of all, he's not out of the lineup. This is somebody that comes in here around this time of year too, as well. And he just randomly has a first touchdown or randomly a touchdown in the game, and he's able to do these things. He's 13-1 for an anytime touchdown. I would play that anytime touchdown because guess what? This Jets defense, for as good as they are, they have one glaring weakness when you look at everything that they kind of stop against, and it's the fact that they've given up the second most touchdowns in the league to the tight end position. So I do like David Njoku here overall. I think he's a good spot to get him for a touchdown at plus 180. But for first touchdown, no. So I'm going to pivot over to the backup, who is Harrison Bryant at 45-1. Going with I'm guessing the two things that you thought we had similar was both defenses at Jets
Correct.
defense 35-1 and the Browns at 18-1. Yes, I will play both of those. No touchdown scorer was 28-1. Can't believe they played in my face like that, but it's cool. Perfectly fine. I will move on with my last Jets player that I think can score, and we're gonna go to
Going Garrett Wilson. I'm trying to think of who.
I think I'm gonna just go Garrett Wilson at 13-1, man. I mean,
they don't have many guys who can actually score touchdowns on this roster.
Yeah, like, and if it's gonna be anybody, I would have just assumed that Wilson makes a hell of a play. Like, so I'll go Garrett Wilson at 13-1. But yeah, it's definitely feels more like a Browns kind of week.
Yeah. So I agree, especially since we're looking at the Browns probably covering this number. And you think the Jets probably score 10 points. I went with 3 Browns and 1 Jet, and the 1 Jet is going to be the Jets defense. I'm not trusting Simeon. That's just not going to happen. So I did take Njoku. I ended up taking him at 8-1. To go through the reasons why, first of all, he's had 4 touchdowns over the last 3 games, and the Jets have been really bad at covering tight ends. The Jets have allowed 8 touchdowns to opposing tight ends this season, so I actually think the low price is pretty warranted. So I ended up taking Njoku at 8-1. And once again, I did take both defenses. Browns defense special teams at 18-1. Jets defense special teams at 35-1. Arguments there. You have Simeon, who we know can be turnover prone, and the Jets are the Jets. They might do something dumb. Flacco, though, is throwing a pick in every game, so I can see him turning it over a couple of times in this game. So I do think that both defenses are definitely worth consideration. And the last one I'm going to go with is a play that I think you're going to co-sign. It's a guy who I don't think is very good, but it does support the revenge game narrative. I got Elijah Moore. I think Elijah Moore at 15-1 is worth consideration, mainly because of the fact that even though he's not been productive over the last couple of weeks, he did play 82% of the snaps last week, which was the most on the entire team. So Moore does have a pretty steady role as the number 2 receiver on this roster. We know that he was on the Jets. He demanded a trade for about a year and a half, finally was let go, and now he ended up on Cleveland. But I am wondering if Stefanski...
Is this the first time he's playing them?
I think so. I don't know why he wouldn't have. I don't know why he would have played them since.
Holy crap. Yeah.
I don't remember when the Jets got rid of him, though. I think it was during the offseason. But I'm pretty sure he's not faced the Jets.
This is the revenge game. Yeah, this is the revenge game.
I'll take the revenge game at 15-1 for a guy who plays 80% of the snaps.
I'm adding an additional 15-1 on Elijah Moore as well in the revenge game.
I thought you would co-sign it, so there you go.
Yeah, I am adding an additional 15-1 on the revenge game for it. And I got to do 2 touchdowns. Come on. Oh, well, I mean, let me just kick off the props with Elijah Moore over 31.5 receiving yards. I mean, come on now. They really this was not this was not a good breakup. Like, I don't think this was a good breakup.
Well, the argument is also that you're going to have Sauce guarding Cooper, and after he set the franchise record, you're probably going to send extra help at him, so you might see extra chances for more in one-on-one coverage.
Yeah, and it's not like now. Granted, I will admit, Joe Flacco funnels about 75% of his targets to 2 people, Njoku and Cooper.
Pretty
He
much.
really doesn't. He doesn't consistently get it to anybody else, but he's had 12 targets in that Rams game, 6 targets in that Jags game. It kind of steadily declined. 3 targets in that Chicago game, and another 4 targets in that Houston game. But I mean, we've seen him get over this line before. Outside of the past 2 games, he went over the line in 5 straight games of 31.5. He is the big play guy, and he can kind of make these happy. Look at his longs on the season. He has a 20 long, a 42, 26. Like, he's getting some really, really big explosive plays in here and really helping take out a big chunk of that yardage. So just really hoping for one big explosive play. It's a revenge angle. I think this is a fun, great angle. I'm taking Elijah Moore over 31.5 receiving yards as prop number 1.
All right. So my first prop, I'm going to go with Garrett Wilson. I'm going to take him over 47.5 receiving yards at minus 115. He's had at least 50 receiving yards in 3 of the last 4 games. He's had at least 48 receiving yards in 11 of 15 games, no matter how bad the quarterback position's been for the Jets. And I think game flow is going to help. We think they might get killed in this game. They might abandon the run. So I do think they might get some extra pass attempts, potential extra targets to Garrett Wilson. Give me the over 47.5 for a number 1 receiver on the team.
All right. Let's see here. Play number 2 is a parlay.
Okay.
Because I didn't want to lay minus 190 juice on Joe Flacco interception. I didn't want to lay minus 180 juice on Trevor Siemian.
Oh, you got the interception parlay?
So I just I knew that both were going to cash, but I didn't want to lay either. Then I had the bright idea of, hey, let's parlay them and get them the 2 pick for plus 132. So yeah, give me both quarterbacks throw interception plus 132. I mean, Joe Flacco is going to do a lot of things. He's going to throw an interception. Trevor Siemian is not good. And this Browns defense is amazing at home. So I think that, you're going to get that get up spot for this Browns defense against Trevor Siemian. And then you're going to have Joe Flacco where he thinks he's, a man on a mission trying to prove that he can still play, and he's playing for a quarter contract for next year. And he's going to make a mistake and throw an interception. So yeah, I like them both plus 132 on both interceptions.
Yeah, so my second prop, I ended up going back to the Jets receiving core, but I actually went with an under, which is going to be, once again, a bit risky because I think the Jets game flow might support some passes. But I ended up taking Xavier Gibson under 19.5 receiving yards at minus 114. He's had less than 16 receiving yards in 11 of 15 games this season. He's had less than 15 receiving yards in 4 of his last 6 games. And the Browns are allowing the fewest passing yards per game in the entire league. So I am wondering once again how many overall targets Gibson's going to get. He's a rookie, but he's kind of like a tweener slot receiver guy. He really doesn't have a definitive role on this team. I'm wondering about the snap count. I'm wondering about his overall usage in this game. But 19.5 just feels too high to me. He's not a guy that catches many passes deep down the field. So it might take 3-4 catches to even get to this number. I'm going to lean to the under, though. I think 19.5 is too high.
I like it. Let's see here. I'm struggling on the last one of what I really, really want to give out here. And I think I'm just going to go ahead and do it. David Njoku, anytime touchdown, plus 180. Second most touchdowns in the league. Yeah, second most touchdowns in the league. I'll take 2-1. David Njoku. Second most touchdowns in the league, giving up the tight ends, is this Jets defense at 8. And then you also have the fact that he's literally funneling his targets to 2 guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I'm not going against it, man. David Njoku, get it done. For somebody and it's still crazy to think that David Njoku burned his face. Like he has terrible burns over the course of the season. And then he became
a good player.
Like he became like one of the a really, really like this is a fantasy league winner.
Every
If you had
superhero has an
Njoku.
origin story,
That was
So,
his. That was his.
that was
I
his.
mean, all right. What's your last prop?
Yeah. So my last prop is going to be actually with another Jets guy, coincidentally, but I'm going with the Jets defense. I'm going to go with Jordan Whitehead. I'm going to take him over 3.5 tackles at -120. He's had at least 4 tackles in 7 of his last 9 games. And a trivia question: do you know which NFL team this season is averaging the most offensive plays per game?
The Jets.
Is the Cleveland Browns.
Oh, the Browns. Oh yeah, well, duh, that would make sense. Yeah.
So Whitehead is going to be on the field a lot. And I think the Jets defense has been a little bit shaky recently. So you might see a couple long drives for Cleveland, a lot of 15, like 10, 15 play drives. So that's extra tackle opportunities. But Whitehead at 3.5, he's gone over once again in 7 of the last 9. And Cleveland's offense is on the field all the time. The line's too short for me. I'll go with the over.
All right. That's it for the props. Before we get into DFS, we have to talk about Hall of Fame bets, sports betting analytics platform, parlays, player props, and game lines. You can research everything in NFL, soccer, NBA. They have historical stats and data, and you can put all that into their revolutionary parlay optimizer tool that will break down your parlay by hit rate. Like it's green, you want to constantly see the green. If you see the green, that's going to make you feel better about your parlay. Stop betting in the dark and join over 30,000 users researching with Hall of Fame bets. Download Hall of Fame bets app or visit HOFBets.com. Use code SGPN to get 50% off your first month day. That's code SGPN. Start researching, start winning with Hall of Fame bets. All right. Scott, you're on FanDuel. I'm on DraftKings. We're trying to win, some money before we close things out this season. What are you doing here in DFS?
All right, so my MVP, I went back to it. Give me Flacco as my captain spot. I want to get creative with it. Maybe Cleveland defense, but nah, Flacco's has so many yards. I really can't go against his current form. So I ended up going with Flacco. The pivot is that I actually did not include Amari Cooper. That was going to be the pivot that I had. But I was going to use Flacco as my captain. I got Njoku because I have to. The guy catches a touchdown basically every week, and the Jets have been very bad against tight ends. So give me Njoku as well. I have Cleveland defense because against Simeon at home, sign me up for that. I have Garrett Wilson on there, who I think can still get a lot of garbage time catches. If he finishes with, for example, 7 catches, 70-something yards, that's still a pretty good day for DFS purposes, and I think that's a pretty realistic outcome. So I ended up going with Garrett Wilson as well. And my last choice might fluctuate depending on the injury report. So I'm going to give you my initial one, and then if he's going to be missing, I'll pivot. I got Kareem Hunt at 9,500 as my last pick.
Okay.
If he's out, then I'm going to go with Elijah Moore. But I ended up going with Kareem Hunt instead. I'm really not a Ford guy. And I know he has touchdowns, but the yards per carry has been abysmal this season. And I do think Kareem Hunt will get some goal line work if Cleveland ends up on second and goal at the 1-yard line. So I think Hunt can get you some receiving yards. He can get you a rushing touchdown. But I do think that a lot of people blindly like Ford because he's the starter. But the yards per carry are just not there. I wonder if Stefanski's going to kind of rotate the minutes a bit more, or the snaps, and give a bigger workload to Hunt moving forward. It's also, middle December, let your veterans get more touches. Hunt's been there before. So once again, my lineup's going to be Flacco as my captain spot. I have Njoku. I have Browns defense. My lone jet is going to be Garrett Wilson. And my last pick is Kareem Hunt. But if he doesn't play, I'll take Elijah Moore instead.
Whoa, that yawn came in at like the absolute worst time. Absolutely worst time. Wow, I'm so sorry for that. All right.
I'm assuming we overlap on a couple, but still.
Yeah, we did. But I was thinking about Joe in the captain slot, and I almost did it because I don't know if you can see in youtube.com/NFL Gambling Podcast, but Joe Flacco still has his Jets picture up here. Look at that. That is Joe Flacco in the green. Yeah. That is Joe Flacco in Jets green right there in DFS. Like, this is ridiculous. So I was very, very close to putting Joe Flacco in that lineup, but you already gave it out. So I wanted to differentiate. So I took him out and I put Elijah Moore, the other half of
I
that.
thought you were going to take
Jets
Njoku.
revenge
I thought a
game.
part of you might go for the 2 touchdown Njoku
No,
game.
man. No, man. I'd rather the Elijah Moore revenge game, man. It's there. It's there. What if Elijah Moore cooks this defense? Like, what if he cooks? What if Joe Flacco makes a point to cook it with Elijah Moore? Like,
That was my first touchdown angle, so yeah, that's fine.
I can't get behind. I can't not get behind that. So Elijah Moore in the captain slot. I do have Joe Flacco on the roster, as you can see. I took both defenses because I still think it's going to be a lower scoring game. And then I do have David Njoku in there because, of course, how could I not? So hopefully I have the only 2 touchdown scorers in the entire, 3 touchdown scorers, because I'll be fine if Brees Hall gets a touchdown because I added Brees Hall to the lineup. PPR guy throwing the ball. I think a lot of checkdowns to Brees Hall against this defense. I just hope to get a bunch of PPR points from him. But yeah, so hopefully those guys score the only touchdowns in the game. And that's it.
I really want to make a case for Zerline, but unfortunately, I just don't trust the Jets offense to actually score enough.
Yeah, I don't even know if they can move the ball. It's gonna be a struggle here. Rooting for sacks, bunch of fumbles lost, all of that. All right, Scott. Anything else for the people before we get up out of here? Oh, wait, no.
We got to do the lock in anytime.
Yeah. So,
and then we got to do a PrizePicks entry
for my lock. I mean,
I feel like you're going to go back to Moore. Unless you want to
the interceptions is being on.
Oh, that's the fun play. Yeah, okay.
We're doing the 2-pick interception parlay for +132. So that's gonna be the lock. We're just gonna keep that train rolling. For my dog, my touchdown. All right. So see, look, I'm gonna have 2 touchdown scores because I'm not gonna miss this angle. And so, of course, I like David Njoku 2-1. You talked about that. I really like Elijah Moore at +360.
I see 390 if you want to pivot.
390, yes. So I'm playing that. I'm also going to be playing Njoku 2 touchdowns at 13-1 and Elijah Moore 2 touchdowns at 35-1. The Elijah Moore 2 touchdowns at 35-1 is like really, 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 really calling to me. So Elijah Moore 35-1, 2 touchdowns. All right, over to you.
I see 42-1.
Yeah.
If you want that for Elijah. Yeah. Okay. So for my lock, I'm not going to overthink this. Give me Cleveland -7 at home. I just think they buried this team. You almost lost to Jacoby Brissett with a 20-point head start. That's not a good sign. I think Cleveland at home is going to show up, I don't know if they've officially clinched a playoff spot, but they can basically wrap it up with a bow with a win in this game. I think they're motivated. I think they're ready to go. So give me the Browns to cover the 7 as my lock. For my touchdown, give me Njoku at 2-1. I'm not going to overthink this. I mentioned it before, but I'll say it again. He's had 4 touchdowns in the last 3 games, and the Jets have allowed 8 touchdowns to opposing tight ends. That's good enough for me. Give me Njoku at 2-1. I thought about maybe making a case for Cleveland defense, but it's only at 5-1, which is too low for me. I can't take that. And Moore at about 390. I kind of was hoping it'd be higher. So I'm just going to go with Njoku at 2-1.
All right. Let's see here. So we do have Njoku touchdown up here. We have
I'm assuming that the interceptions are too juiced that they're not going to have a half.
So they have the half, but it's got the little green goblin, which means that they lowered the price. But they have the spicy goblin that is 1.5 interceptions as well. And I'm not gonna lie.
That's for both quarterbacks, or that's
no, just for Flacco.
One?
Just for Flacco.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, I know.
I kind of wanted it.
I would have hammered it for Simeon, but I still think that we have a case for Flacco. Like I truly think we have a case for Flacco for 1.5.
I think we have a case. Just ask, what's the difference in price though? What is the
so if we do Njoku touchdown and just Flacco interception, that pays 3.5.
Okay.
And if we do the 1.5, that pays 7. So it doubles.
Okay.
I'm cool with the 3 point. Well, no, we need one more prop. We gotta get to.
I thought we were just gonna do like more.
Oh yeah,
we'll go for the revenge game.
Yeah, 100%.
You said it was 31.5, I think, which sounds a bit low.
I see 29.5 here on more for PrizePicks, so we can do more than 29.5 receiving yards at. Yep, and then we have Joe Flacco for more than half interception, and David Njoku for more than half rush or receiving touchdown. So, it's a chance if he get that jet sweep, we still good. So, all right, that pays 6.5, Scott.
Okay.
6.5x. So $20 gets you $130. $100 gets you $650. Make sure you use that promo code SGPN at PrizePicks.com/SGPN. PrizePicks. All right. Anything else for people before we get up out of here?
No, not really. I think my favorite team's gonna get embarrassed, but it's fine. Embrace the tank. And yeah, it was fun doing Thursday night games, but this is the last one. So we'll see you, of course, in the afternoon game show. And we got the playoffs coming up. But for Thursday night, that's a wrap.
All right, that's it. Another good year. We've hit some first touchdowns, some juicy ones over the course of the season as well. Didn't win $1 million in DFS, but you know what? You always keep trying. You continue to keep trying. Other than that, thank you for rocking with us, and we're gonna keep going. Don't think that we're just done. We just don't have any more Thursday night football games. But this is all I have to say. I have nothing else to do. No other way of ending podcast. Just gonna like this. We are out of here.